We're good. It was not good. My friends and I have been playing Ready or Not on and off for the past couple of years. Watching and experiencing its ongoing development has been a fun experience, and learning about its 1.0 release during the Video Game Awards was easily the highlight of the experience. You know, aside from Kojima's entrance.
Objectives failed.
I am very relieved to report that Ready or Not's official release did not disappoint. The sheer volume of positive and exciting changes that they made from the last beta build to the 1.0 build could fill a long video, but that's not what we're here for today. Ready or Not does a lot right, but there's one element of this game that the developers have perfected. One thing that it does better than any other game I've played. A secret under the surface that has me hooked. Let's jump in. Scratch that, don't jump in. Advance slowly, carefully, and precisely. Or you'll probably end up looking like this guy.
Who shot at me?
Are you okay? Nope. For those of you who aren't familiar, Ready or Not is an intense first-person shooter where you play as a SWAT officer. You can play solo or with up to 3 of your friends. Single player will have you advancing through a series of missions with a team of AI squad mates. You manage their loadouts, you give them orders while in mission, and you'll inevitably end up sending them off to therapy. I mean, I'd be needing therapy too. I wouldn't want to go on the adventures that the Los Sueños SWAT go on. Single player can be a satisfying experience, but I've got my gripes. Your AI squad functions phenomenally for the most part, but this is a game where you'll get folded by a single lucky shot, and the AI doesn't hold back. So small pathing issues and odd behavior, small glitches, these wouldn't be a big deal in most other games, but they really stand out here. Single player is really rewarding, and you will learn to work around those AI issues, but I enjoyed multiplayer far more. So let's get into that multiplayer gameplay loop. There's a lot of depth that goes into prepping for a mission. Upon selecting a mission, you'll have access to a mission brief. It'll tell you what your objectives are, what bad guys you might be facing, and what good guys might get caught in the crossfire. Careful consideration is essential, and so is coordination with your team. For example, you don't want to get into a mission and find out that everybody on your team is running shields, because you might want a mirror gun for checking under doors, or a battering ram for breaking those doors down. Maybe you'll just want one person focusing on a less than lethal loadout, but maybe everyone should run a less than lethal loadout. If someone on your team plans on running tear gas, everyone else is gonna want a gas mask. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be tempted to get rid of all of the less than lethal once you realize what they're doing in this building. There's a lot to consider, and that leads to a lot of different ways to play. After all of that, once your team is ready, you're going in. If I were to describe the gameplay of Ready or Not in one word, it'd be unforgiving. Even with armor, both you and the enemy can die in one hit. You've got civilian lives and rules of engagement to balance. Your enemy has the defensive advantage. They might have armor, they might have human shields, they might be in disguise, and they don't have to play by the rules that you do. Be careful, be precise, coordinate well with your team. If you fail even one of those things, you're dead, or worse, an innocent civilian is dead. You and your team have to be in sync, and you all have to be willing to learn genuine close quarters combat tactics. All of these aspects are what make Ready or Not so satisfying and fun. The odds are stacked against you, and you have to be near perfect to come out on top. Now, with all of that in mind, let's move on to the secret. What is in this game's DNA that it does better than any other game I've played? Do me a favor. Step in my shoes for a few seconds. Try and feel what I'm feeling in this gameplay. Tension. The build up and the release of the tension in this game are unlike anything I've played. There could be a bad guy ready to kill you or an innocent hostage around every corner. You are in an unknown and unforgiving territory, and the developers have perfected that feeling. The environments and sound design do the heavy lifting here. Every detail of these maps adds to the feeling of dread. Gruesome displays will show what your enemies are capable of. Unsettling scribblings will adorn the walls. Tape recorders and emails will give you insight about your enemies and objectives, but maybe that insight isn't worth the terrible details that come with it. The levels themselves often feel like your enemy. Kill holes will show up in unexpected places, levels will become maze-like, and everywhere there will be hiding places and cover and angles and angles and angles. Then comes the sound design and music. You've been hearing the music throughout this video. It's subtle, but it gradually builds as tension grows. The sound design shares in its subtlety. You'll find yourself often wondering whether sounds are just unsettling environmental ambiance or if they're footsteps of an enemy waiting to strike. Then, the tension reaches its breaking point. Gunshots ring out and they are loud. Your shots might hit home, sometimes the enemy's shots do the same, but nobody dies a quiet death, and that death could always be right around the corner, whether you're ready or not.
Objectives failed. This one's a wash.
Needless to say, this game isn't exactly a relaxing experience. It's not a game that I can play for very long before I need to take a break. But these devs' mastery over tension is what has me coming back over and over again. Do it, do it! He's alive?
Not anymore.
Oh my god.
Howdy, I'm Fancy Phoenix. I'm re-recording this bit because we just hit 1,000 subscribers. I am so genuinely grateful. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed, and thank you even if you haven't. Just making it to the end of this video means a lot to me. Liking this video and subscribing to my channel helps a lot. I've got a whole playlist of videos like this one, so please stick around if you're interested. Thanks again. More videos are on the way. Hopefully, I'll see you again soon.